Good. All right. So it is, I should say is. All right. So what I'm looking at is our demo site, what I'm going to use today. And we're mainly discussing things with Discover settings, different ways of doing things, the new stuff that is in there, any new features, and the app for ebooks, etc., for Destiny Discover. So I always want to point out this is version 18. If you're Follett hosted, your address ends with follettdestiny.com. You are on the latest version. If you're not on 18, you can you look here in the blue bar at the bottom of any page, whether you are logged in or not, and it will let you know the version. And the reason you do want to be on 18 is the new app they released this summer only works with 18. The previous app for ebooks was called Destiny Read. It should still work, and they left it out there because of people not being able to move to 18 right away. Once you're on 18, Destiny Discover is the app you want, and that app is for Apple devices, mobile devices, and Android devices, tablets or phones. And while we're on the app, the first screen that you see will show you or the students what ebooks they have checked out. So they could check out ebooks like on a computer or any device. Once it's checked out, they will see that on the phone. They could still check out on the phone also. But there is a menu at the bottom for searching the library. And so then they can search the whole library. And they can choose to search for ebooks only, or all books, or just physical books, or all items, etc. So it takes a little bit kind of getting used to just to look at where everything is. And they are adding features as we move forward throughout the school year. They had plans of different releases when they were, different or more features in a later release. But with the COVID lockdowns, a lot of stuff changed. And so they kind of rushed it out to get at least the ebook ability in the app working so that everyone would have it for the school year, and they'll continue to add features as we move along. And a lot of you, obviously, we know each other, and a lot of you have heard me say the same thing over and over, but I always like repeating myself to clarify. The interface we're looking at right now, this is the one you're used to. A lot of people refer to this as the classic officially within Destiny, and from Follett, it is now the whole interface that we see is called the Destiny back office. And obviously up here, back office term that used to be here is changed to admin. So they're trying to separate the thinking process between the back office, which everything here, the thinking is for librarians or library staff, even though students and teachers could still use this. And then Destiny Discover, as opposed to Destiny back office, is mainly for the teachers and students searching. And so basically, I like to say that any new features, enhancements for library staff will be here in this interface, and anything new in Discover will be for the thinking of students and teachers. I am logged in as me. If I go to the admin, I'm logged in as me as my patron record. And this is the ideal way to be logged in on a day-to-day basis with your name, your patron record, and access level as administrator. I always like to point out that we're pushing. I'm trying to emphasize that you log in with your name, because when you get into collections and some of the other things, you will see the name of the person that created the collection over in Discover. And I can tell you'll be able to see that a lot of people are signing in as site administrator and then creating collections, sharing publicly, and no one really knows who the site administrator is or where they're from. So the interaction within Destiny is best done your patron record, your name, so everyone knows who's doing what. And then I remind everyone there is a Destiny administrator. Destiny admin is the username. And the normal thinking is an IT person within the school would have that password, and a library thinking person would also have that password. There are a lot of library features that the Destiny administrator can turn on and off, adjust, and do different things with that, with all due respect, the IT people may not know what they are or may not know that they are up there. So what I'm going to do is go right into Discover. And there are ways to set that Discover as the default if they come to the address that you share. Or you could share the address that is up here in the address bar now. So everyone will have a different 5-digit number at the end. So the address that you can copy and paste there will work for anyone logged in, not logged in. And this would be the best way if you're sharing addresses. I'm sorry, sharing a web address for students and teachers to get to the Destiny Discover page.
Excuse me, Larry, will you
Yes.
show us how to set it as the default?
Yeah, let me
so
do that.
that.
So technically, that this address would be the default to do Discover as one option. The other way is if I go to the back office again, if you have everything set up for the address that's up here where it says follow@destiny.com or a local address,
Right.
if you go to admin and access levels,
Mm-hmm.
assuming, and don't pay attention to the extra access levels I have here. This is a demo site that a lot of people use, but everyone that does not log in as a guest to start with, you're a guest technically until you log in. So if you go to the guest and edit, here is the option that says search using Destiny Discover. So that turns it on.
Right.
And then down here is use Destiny Discover by default. So if they come to the follow@destiny.com address that you shared with them before, and you turn this on, anyone that does not log in will automatically go to Discover first.
Okay.
And you can have an option to let the guest come back to the other interface. A lot of librarians have decided, no, we're just going to have one interface, Discover for the students, unless there's a particular reason not to. And at the same time, when students or teachers do log in, let's say in this one, most the students, when they do log into Destiny, they'd be a patron access, or you may have a student access level used to here. So you'd always want to check to make sure that whatever they log in with, or the teachers might log in under, that went too far, that Discover is the default.
Okay, we'll play around with that. Okay, great.
Yeah, and that is a good point. You should always play with all this stuff. You can always play and test, have a fake login so you can see what students and teachers see. And anything you turn on, you can turn back off. You can switch stuff around as much as you want. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So is my understanding correct, Larry? Just to clarify, you can set that default for different accessors or access levels, I guess is the way I want to say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So obviously for yours, for administrators, most librarians don't want to always go to Discover first.
Right.
They're wanting to go here. So yeah, you can change it for teachers, different groups, library staff.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right. So, oops, sorry. The searching, this is not recently new, but new within the past year. They've made some changes under search options. So before the search, there are ways that the patrons can adjust limiters. And these limiters are very much almost the same as what you would see in the classic search. So it defaults to keyword, or when they search, they can specify. defaults to your school, your library, or if you have more than one library and different groups, they can choose to look elsewhere. Different formats, and what we've done here is put the most common, most used, expected ones at the top, but all the other ones still exist. Sublocation, a lot of schools have started to use sublocation for genre and other things, and we've added that limiter in so you can limit by the sublocation. And then all the different interests and reading levels, reading programs. If you have that data, add it or get it from us or anybody else into your records, then you can set the limiters using this. And this would all be before searching. So if I close it, and as always, for those that have been around a while, I use Dinosaur for the search. And then on the left, filters. I'm kind of getting the idea that sometimes teachers, students, some of the librarians don't always see all these different filters over here, and whatever filters show up or is based on the search results. So I know I have data that would fit any of these. And let's say if I wanted to limit by number of pages, that's what it looks like. Got 0 on the left, 488 on the right. I could choose to get something of 100 pages or less, and that narrows it down. I could choose to pick an author, so now I've got 2 filters. So there's a lot of different ways to help narrow down those searches that come up with 100 titles that they never seem to be able to scroll through and find everything that way. So the filtering is one of the more important parts, I think, of searching for information. You'll notice a carousel button. The white ones where it has the minus in it means these records are already in my custom carousel. Carousel meaning the ribbons at the home page that we'll get to. This one I can add to the carousel. You won't see this until you turn on the custom ribbon on the home page. And then I will get to that setup option to show you where all this is. Then I'm thinking that a lot of times too is people are not seeing everything across the top here. I kind of think that'd be kind of nice to have some highlighty color, maybe bigger text. Maybe they'll switch that. Books meaning items you have in the library. Collections, if you have collections turned on for people to see, these are all of the collections that I would be able to access from around the world because I am an administrator. So I can see all of the dinosaur collections that have been created, and I could copy and choose and look and whatever I need to do with these as an administrator. Websites is WebPath Express if you're subscribing to it. And again, the filterings are over here on the left. It's the same filtering that is in Classic. It's just, I think it's easier to use over here to see everything. Databases would be your OneSearch databases. If I get time, I try to show that toward the end of the session of how to add or go to OneSearch setup in case no one has, or I'm sure a lot of you have, but in case anyone has not been there. But you can add your some of your subscribed databases, and we offer free, worthwhile databases that you can add in, and you'll get search results. And in this case, just so we can see this, if Fact Monster is a free one, if I click here, it will show me some choices. And if I click on one, it should take me out to that exact same page. And this is all how it's supposed to work. Just more resources coming into the catalog. And if you do have questions on any of these things, like particularly with yours, you can't see it, maybe it's not on, maybe there's a different problem, always feel free to email any of us, tech support, so we can assist. Then open educational resources is websites from Department of Education. There's no harm in students or students seeing any of this, but you do have a choice to turn it off if you do not want students to see the open educational resources. The aim for these from the Department of Education in the U.S. is for teachers. It's teaching resources, mainly educator resources, and lots of good information, maybe too much for, let's say, the younger students or some of the students. So the access levels, first of all, if you do not see this, Destiny administrator can turn this on. It has to be turned on at the district. Then you'll see the option. And then in access levels, you can turn it on and off for whoever can see it when they're logged in. All right, if I come back to books, and okay, I want to come back. I need to show you the buttons inside, sorry. If I'm in here, I see the carousel buttons also. And within the past year, this is what they added. You may also like. So anytime that a student is looking at one of these, or I mean, at this view of a title, they will see suggestions showing up on the right. All right, I'm gonna come back to the home page. And what you're seeing at the top, you can turn on. By default, you don't see this. This is off in your settings. So if you don't see this, never been into the settings, make changes, you won't see this. And what this is, and this is not the best color background and color of choice somebody's done, but you can set up announcements here. You can type in text, notes, information. You can show graphics, pictures. This one has actually a video embedded into it. So you have a lot of different options that you can do here. Basically, it's just information you're sharing with the students. The learning links are links that you can add. So specifically links to databases, links that you need the students to have access to on a regular basis. Now, what is also showing in our demo site, and you have an option to turn these on and off, is our OneSearch databases. So the OneSearch databases that you turn on in the back office, there's an option to say display it in learning links. So like CNN, Discovery, Wikipedia, these are OneSearch databases that have been turned on for use. And whether they display here or not, when you search, it will always search these databases. But by adding it here, all this is doing is taking you directly to that website with no search. So a lot of people are not displaying these here in learning links. And I'll try to point that out when we get to the OneSearch setup. If I scroll down, this is a custom carousel is the official term. And this is what you can set up. If you do not see yours yet, that just means you've not been into the setup, you have not named it, and you have not turned it on. Once it's on, immediately, you will not see it, but you will see those buttons with the titles that allow you to add that title to the carousel. Once you add a title to a carousel, you'll see the carousel showing up. Ebooks, topics. This is, if you've been using Discover for many years, you'll know that topics was set in stone. We either had an elementary or a middle high school option. Now you can edit, change, add, remove, delete, do anything you want with topics to your liking. And I'll show you where that is. Collections can show through if you're into collections, which is like resource lists. Recently added books, new books, learning links is showing down here also. This learning links carousel is the exact same learning links showing up here. So you have options to turn one or the other off or have them both. Lightbox ebooks, exclusive mainly from Destiny. I'm sorry, from Follett. If we get a chance, hopefully we'll open these up a little bit later to show how they look. Audiobooks, popular titles, and you have a choice of which one show or do not show. If you do not want one, you can turn it off. If you do not like the way they are arranged, the order that the carousels are, you can change it, and you can change it many times you want. If I come up here now, I'm going to go into the setup option to show some of these things that you could do. So I'm coming up to the 3 lines. A lot of people are referring to this as a hamburger menu and other names for it, the upper left menu. All of these, you'll probably see, almost everyone will see any of these. Biblianasium is a subscription add-on. The rest of these students would see pretty much if you have these options turned on. So they have a profile, they'll see what they have checked out, any holds, finds, history if it's on, favorites. So anyone can create favorites, just a list. It's a one list of favorites. And the main advantage is you can get citations for everything that you add into the favorites list. Widgets, we'll try to get back to that. And then there's the admin. The admin here is the settings for Discover and ebooks and digital items from Follett. So I want to click there. Always go ahead. Question?
From reports.
Yeah, the reports, it is the first place it goes to. And reports, these reports, all these 6 reports are all related to Follett ebooks or Follett audiobooks. And that's it. It does not pull anything from Destiny. It's not showing information for any other vendor ebooks. This is Follett digital items, ebooks and audiobooks at this time. If I come down here to display options, first thing I want to look at is featured content. All right, so this is column A and column B. This is that message that we saw earlier that was out here earlier. This is the blue box showing. And you can change colors. You can do anything you want. You can change the title that shows here with the edit button. But more importantly, you can edit this space down here. And if you've never been in here, it looks like this. So you can add text, do different sizes, different fonts, different color background. You can do bullets. Some of this is HTML type of thinking, web page stuff, but you don't have to know the code. You can add links, and this one is for pictures, videos, images, and then there's one for videos. And the whole point here is that you have a hidden option. So I could hide this or keep it hidden until I finalize it. I don't want to be experimenting and trying different things and having it displayed to everyone in Discover. So I can turn it off so no one sees it and then do whatever I need to. Column B, this one is set to show learning links, which is why we saw the learning links showing up here. Some don't want learning links, and so here you can do the exact same thing as over here. So you can have 2 boxes of information and notes, put in anything you want, do whatever you want.
Excuse me, Larry, may I ask
Yes.
a question? I was playing
Yes.
around with this the other day, and I had seen another library's layout, and it looked like they were able to do a different layout where column A was wider. Is that possible to change the layout at all? Or I couldn't figure it out. Oh, how did you do that?
Hidden.
Oh, but they had learning links as well as the welcome message in column A, and it just, are there only those 2 layouts?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. So you're saying that
Like
they had a
column,
larger one? This
yeah,
one was larger?
yes, that's what it appeared to be.
It could be whatever they might have put in here would have pushed this more to the right. Whatever they put into the blue box or this box on the left, that if they did something special, that it would have pushed it further to the right.
Okay. But there
Oh,
is
now
no, if they're just those basic 2 layouts though. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, now you got me curious.
Yeah, it's a good question, I think.
There's a lot of different variables that's possible. Now, it's a good time for me to explain is that I've got two tabs, and so this tab here is allowing me to make just. I'm still in Discover, so if I go back to Discover right now as is, I will not see any changes I've done in setup or in the settings for Discover. You need to leave Discover, go to the back office, and then come back in. So when you're coming back in, it refreshes and you'll see, yep, that didn't make a difference. Let me see if I can follow up on that. Or if you know what school it was and you got an address, share that address with me or Marina later so I can go see exactly what you saw and see what they're doing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to track it down. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because I'm assuming we will see a lot of different things, ways of doing things up here in the box. There's all kinds of things that you can do, and the more that's done, obviously, we'll see different results. And I'll probably be seeing new stuff all the time. All right, so play with it as much as you want. If you don't want anyone to see it, you have hidden chosen, and when you make changes, always remember to scroll down and hit the save at the bottom. The next part is to see or notice, and this is a thing that many miss. It defaults to standard. Standard is what we've been seeing and viewing mostly earlier when this is standard. There is a simplified, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So you have two ways, two screens, two home pages you can set up with totally different looks. And the thinking is standard is if that's the default, everyone uses it. If it's good for your upper grade students, lower grade students, great. Simplified was thinking of cutting back on a lot of the excess and possibly being used for lower grades. And I say possibly because that's usually the first intention, but we're seeing people like it a lot and they are using it with the upper grades and they use this as the default to go into. Either way is fine and you can change things back and forth. All right, so then here is where you can adjust which ones are on or off. Audiobooks is a good example. If you do not have audiobooks and this carousel is ticked and on, you will not see an empty carousel. So the thinking is that someday you may get an audiobook, so you might want to leave this on so it automatically shows up, but your choice. And if I grab it with my mouse, I can move these to anywhere I want. And again, don't forget to save. So you can prioritize the order. All right, the first one here in this list is scary reads. So if I come over here and click and want to edit, if it's the first time in, you don't see, I think it's untitled is the default name and it's not checked. So you would want to edit and name the carousel. And the thinking of in the carousel is a specialized list sharing of items, no matter what it is, it's your choice. So obviously someone created a scary reads for the Halloween stuff coming up and they can change it later. You can change it again and again and redo it and redo it. And your first thought should be the same first thought I had, and I am betting the first thought that all librarians have. Once you discover this and use this and play with it, just starting out, your very first thought, I repeat myself too many times, is that you want a second custom carousel and a third custom carousel because this really makes sense. I liked it. A lot of librarians that are using it are starting to like it, and there's a lot of requests coming in for more capabilities and more things to do with this. So you name it, turn it on, and then you'll see the ability when you search for titles. in your library, anything that's in your library catalog can be added to a custom carousel. And topics, if any of you were used to use or had used a lot the visual search in the Destiny back office, this is very similar. Now, if you've never been here before, and the first time in, yours will either be set to elementary or set to middle school. Both of these are the preset topic searches created by Follett way back in the beginning when they added this feature. You just have elementary or middle. If you come to custom, and if it's the first time, you will not see anything except these three links. Nothing below shows the first time in. You have an option once you're in custom to import the elementary. So if you like some of the pre-made ones from elementary and you want them to be here in custom, import them. It takes 2 seconds. You can bring over the middle school, import middle high school topic. Once all the preset ones from Follett are here, if there are ones you do not like, so I can tell this one, science fiction, would have been a preset one from Follett. You say, no, I really don't want it, but I might want others. You can just hide it. So this is something you don't want, you hide it, but it stays here so you can use it later. If you do like it, but something about it doesn't fit your likings, you can edit this pre-made topic search. So if I click on edit, I can change the name. I could change the image. I could take a preset, or an image that we supply to use, or you can upload your own image. So if you have your own images and you want them to be this size down here, 110 by 110, then you can add your own. You can remove subjects. You could add subjects. Your choice. If I hit cancel. If I come back up, you can create your own. So if I click on add blank topic, type in the name, and if you want a simple one, you can do this. So all this would do is search for dinosaur, if you spelled it right, if I spelled it right, and give the students results by just all dinosaurs or all titles, and everything else with the term dinosaur in it would be the search results. Now notice I cannot save yet because I need to have an image. It will not let you save unless you have the title, at least something here to search on, and the image. Now I could save it. If I don't want keyword, because keyword would search everything, author, title, notes, subject, theories, added entries, just about everything in a record. I could be specific and say subject. And now I have to click on the plus button. Sometimes the plus button will show in different areas depending on the, there. I had my screen enlarged, or the web page. Show here, add it. And then I could type in another one and another subject. I could have as many different subjects as I want here. And if you don't want it anymore, delete it. The other third option for a topic would be sublocation. So you can name it anything you wish, usually the name of the sublocation. In this case, let's say if it was board books. Then when they click on it, they would see a list of titles that you have chosen to add to that sublocation. So far, so good. Then down here at the bottom, it shows in all themes, or I could say it's only in standard, or it's only in simplified. So you get to choose between the two interfaces that we'll look at in a little bit. which of these topics show in which interface. So we're giving you a lot of controls here. I think this is much better than the capabilities that visual search. Just a matter of getting used to the settings and being able to do what you need here. And I'm assuming they probably will continue to add features, because the first setup here was subjects and sublocation, and later on they added keyword, and I imagine some will ask for author or series. At least I would ask for it. So your choice. And to point out, if you're working on it, you're not sure it's going to work right, you can always keep it hidden until you get it set the way you want. And let me cancel this one I was doing. This here lets you put the topics in the order you wish to have them. So I could grab it and I can move this one down. Since this is a duplicate, I can delete. I don't need two of them. But I can move things around to wherever I want. And the duplicate button is, let's say for if I was wanted to duplicate this one, or I want to leave it, but I want to duplicate it so I can have some of these subjects already preset. So if I duplicate, it does this. And let's just say I did not want spy stories in there. I want to be more specific. So then I could do that. And then save it, change the picture, change the titles if I want, whatever I need to. The whole concept is to have the topics ribbon like this set to make it easy for anyone to just click on and find a list of titles and information based on what you do in your settings. Much easier than trying to figure out what to search for, etc. All right, come back. I'm going to back out of here. And as a reminder, it's either standard or simplified. So I come here to versions and themes. Here's the standard and simplified options. So I am the administrator. This administrator role is connected with the administrator access level, and you have options to make those changes in access level. Standard, the only option is prime blue. And this is the sample view. The sample looks as, all right, here's the prime view look. This is basically what we're used to seeing. If I come down here to guest, and I'm going to say anyone that does not log in is going to be seeing the simplified view. And now there are different options to choose from for the background. So there's space. And if you click here, it shows you what the background's going to look like. Kids outside, aquarium, book fair, technology, sports, and gradient right now. I'm going to choose book fair, double check it. Yeah, that's the one I want to use. And then I could adjust anything else. Like if students log in, what should students see? This, teacher, staff, and you're going to change this as many times as you want, trying to experiment and test. So I've made that change for guests. Scroll down, save it. I'm going to close this tab because it's just a settings tab. Back to Discover, and I'm still logged in as me, but I'm going to come up here and log out. So when I log out, I will go to the guest access level. And the guest is seeing it this way. This is the simplified view. Let me get this set. Yeah. All right, so I'm still seeing the view here, the notes information. Learning links, which is simplified much less. The ribbons look like this, obviously. If I have a ribbon here, I can click, go to the next. I can click on see all. If I click on a title, this is the first thing I see, less information. More details, still less information than what I would see in standard. Related, or you might like, recommendations are down here, and it's coming through the related stuff and what you might like options, features that automatically show you cannot adjust, turn on or off. They're based on either the same subject or authors, series. Sometimes you'll see it because if it's close match, there's more circulations. Just to give everyone some ideas. And that's the main difference. So if you don't like the background, you can change it. If I search here, this is what it's going to look like instead of a long list. We're just showing cover images. Again, if I click, it looks like this, and then click. Filters are available. Along the top, it's easier to see these tabs: collections, websites, databases. Websites is WebPath Express. So you can test this out, switch around, do whatever you want. This does look nice. A lot of people do like this, so that's why we see a lot of upper grade libraries looking into this and doing a simpler look. So now if I come back, I want to log in again as me.
Una niña.
Dad, Carito, I have a question. That in classroom you send two activities that we already did. Mira, si habla bien inglés. Aquí.
Somebody's loud out there.
Larry, sorry, I muted you. Please unmute yourself.
All right, now I'm back. I wonder what you missed. Can anybody hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, Larry. I think we just missed this part where you started to look at came back to the user interfaces.
Okay. Yeah, so then all I was just reviewing this, saying these are the two big settings that most everyone goes to: versions and themes, featured content, and this is all related to setting up the Discover homepage the way you want it, and how everything looks and works. And I also point out, if everybody that has been using Destiny for many years, you pretty much know that we do two major upgrades with Destiny every year, usually one over the summer break and one at the holiday break. And so that's, every 6 months, and that's Destiny changes, which is a upgrade process. Discover is in the cloud, so that means it's not technically on the server where Destiny is. So with Discover being one installation in the cloud for everyone to use, it is easy for the developers, the programmers, to update and make changes. So they'll do whatever changes they're making. I think the assumption is they'll probably do it every 2 weeks is what they try to schedule in, and they do it over a weekend. So there are times that they make some changes, and I'll notice it Monday morning. Sometimes we get announcements depending on what it is. Sometimes it's minor changes. We don't get announcements, but there's nothing hugely changed where students or teachers or yourselves would be totally confused or lost. But there are new features constantly being added. So let's say right now, after today's session, you spend a couple of days next week looking at things. Something does not fit exactly the way you like it, or you want something different. Do remember to check every so often, ask later, because these changes will come through, and they are listening to many different enhancement requests on this. So it keeps improving. All right, so for a lot of this to work, students and teachers need to log in so they can follow whatever you've chosen for different access levels and however they're logging in, what they need to see or not see. I'm assuming one or more of you probably have not set that up for students. But I want to point out that access levels, there is what they call a shared account. Now, this only works with followed ebooks and followed audiobooks. So if you have followed ebooks or followed audiobooks, you cannot open and read either, or read one or listen to the other unless you have a login to Destiny, meaning no guest can just come in and open up an ebook and read it. So if you do not have logins for students yet in Destiny, you want them to access your followed ebooks, you can create a fairly easy generic login here. And if the students know what it is, and when they go to a followed ebook, they can log in and access it and read it online. And literally meaning they can read it online only. They cannot download it, read it offline. They cannot check it out. So they can read it online. And you could have 100 students all logged in reading 100 different ebooks if you want with this one login. So then, because we go to logins, I'm coming back to here because it is important for students and teachers. Ideally, you're logging in, like I mentioned earlier, as an administrator or a library administrator, access level. Should have done this. In the patron record, username is here. For logging in, the best option is to use the student and teacher's school or school email username here. So that way they already know that, they have it memorized. So use the school username. And there is what we call SSO. SSO is single sign-on. If you have not heard of that, there are ways to connect Destiny with your school's login network. So many schools use Google Apps. So the students and teachers have a Google login. So the Google username could be here. You as the librarian do not need to know or fill in the password fields. If your IT connects Destiny with your school network login process through the single sign-on SSO, the students would then always be able to use, and you could do this also for your login, the school login. They just do their username, their password. And if the school username password, well, if the school password changes, works the same here in Destiny. They just log in with their school network. If you or students, teachers are in the school and you are already logged in on a, let's say, a workstation, computer, laptop, whatever, to the school network, and then you go and open up Destiny, you would already be logged into Destiny. Destiny knows who you are by looking at how you're logged into the network and just brings you right on into Destiny. You don't have to type in anything, username, password, you just click right on through. So the thing is single sign-on. Your IT staff probably have already done single sign-ons with other vendors, many school vendors. The important ones are offering a single sign-on process, so the students can use one username, one password, same password, or their password for the library login, for online databases, for any school, other logins, emails, connections, whatever they need. One username, one password. That's the main thought here. So you do want to be sure to mention that to your IT staff, and because they may not know that Destiny can do the single sign-on. And sometimes the tech staff, your IT staff, would know what to do exactly with the Destiny admin login to get to the setup. If not, they can contact tech support at Follett. The technical details on the connection is above and beyond what I know on all of the programs, so this would be a tech support setup or assistance needed. Then, as a reminder, if you are able to do so, if you can get the data from your school database, you can update your records, add new patrons, and update patron records with the data coming from the school system. I can share information on that later on if you need. The ideal thing is the district ID is the student's school ID. So most all school databases assign an ID number to the student. You put that student number here in the district ID, and it's just as easy to use the student ID as the barcode. And that way, when the data comes from the school system, it recognizes the matching of the district ID number and will update this. So every time a student comes to a new school year and get a new grade level, new homeroom, any other information changes, including adding the username, the email address, and I just went blank. You can add everything. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to add in, once the mapping is set between these fields and your school fields, your school database fields, the process can be automated. You can set it up to be daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you need. We always suggest daily, and a lot of times that reaction is, why would we do it daily? We don't have that many changes. And what I can tell you, those that don't set it up with some kind of a schedule like daily or weekly, they are always coming back every year asking how to do this. And they have to relearn it and relearn it and relearn it. If it's set up automatically, it just happens every day and you don't have to worry about it. You, the librarians, still need to delete students when they leave. So hopefully you have some way of getting the information when a student leaves so you can delete them from the system. And there's automatic ways, or I should say global updating ways to delete students, a little bit more advanced. Main thing is patrons can get updated automatically. You want to get the username in there, their school username for login, get this connected to single sign-on, and then they will be able to see and do more things. And if I look at the access level, I point out options that students that would not be able to do if they did not log in. But if they log in, they could add review ratings to books, submit review comments, connect to digital content online. You would approve all this before it goes public. If I come up to here under patrons, self-empowered patron access, all of these options exist. Renew their own materials, place holds, delete holds on their own, and some of these other features. And if you turn on Access Library Checkout History for students and teachers, they will only see their own history. So if you had a student start out in first grade and they were there in sixth grade, they could look back the last 5-6 years to see everything they have checked out ever. So the logging in is going to be a priority. If you notice, I'm emphasizing that.
Sorry, Larry, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Going back to the single sign-on, like that might work for parents if they don't have a school account, of course, with their own like Google account, for example. No?
I have seen somewhere that did work, but let's say for parents that would not have an official school login, then
Right.
you would give the parents any username login that you wanted. So you could still do your own basic logins. You would just add in the username and the password they want, or they technically could do it on their own also. So yeah,
Like
for anyone that does not have a school login, you can still have logins for anybody else. That just
we
would not
can
be.
assign like a generic password for them, and then they can change it, like to use the same password, for example, that they use for the Gmail.
It's possible, yes. If all the options are on, wait a minute, I'm logging out to show you where that shows up. If the options are on,
Yep.
I'm spinning on logging out here. Well, that's pretty interesting. If everything is on, I can, if they are at this interface, if they're here in the Classic, in the Destiny back office, they can create their own account. To create, though, they need to know their last name and a barcode. So you would already have added them as a patron. You'd have to let them know they can do this and what their barcode number is. If you add their birth date, once you get past this, it'll stop as a different kind of authentication and ask them for their birth date as a comparison. If there is no birth date, then this is all they need to know. And if they already have a login, so like you give them a generic login and they want to change the password, when they're at the login page, forget password. So
perfect. They can reset it from there.
Right.
Perfect.
So even though I did not forget my password, it's the same process to reset it. So that it does kind of confuse people. So basically, yeah, they go in and reset it.
That's
the problem that you might run into, and this is what I didn't realize this till this past summer, because everybody's starting to use Discover more and logins and doing everything. You can't do this in Discover. So if they go to Discover first, there's no option of creating or changing the password.
Okay.
So this is fine. I don't want to confuse the issues, but there's so many different ways you can set this up. I can show anyone, if you need to, if you like them to come here first and see the home page and see this login process, and they can see this and do this here, and this would be the address they would use to get to this. And when they click on catalog, they don't go here. You can set it up so they go directly to Discover. So there's ways to make all this work where they see the home page, they see the login, create account, they go to catalog. They don't see this one, they see Discover only.
Discover, perfect.
Yeah. So if there's anything that comes up this doesn't flow right, always ask. There's ways that other people have figured out. I've played with things to see how it works or see different options. And there are times I think I probably get several emails a week that the answer is, nope, sorry, that isn't there. Nope, can't do this or that. But most of them, there's ways to do what people are asking. They just don't see it, or they haven't had time to sit down and play with it.
Right.
Perfect. All right. So
thank you very much.
So Larry, may I ask a question on something you just said? So we have our setup to the homepage. How do we make that catalog link go to Destiny?
All right. I'm going to log in at a different spot so I can just do it. I don't have full control over that other demo site. We have multiple demo sites for multiple reasons. All right, so I'm going to library view. All right, so in admin, I'm going to access level. And I'm just going to play with the guest part.
Oh, I think this is what we did already.
Today?
Yeah. No. Okay.
Nope. This is different. So right now I have these options on: basic, power, visual, etc. This is the classic back office search page, and I also have Destiny Discover. So if a guest came to here to this address, they would see all of this first, including the home page. All right, wait a minute. I have to make some changes. And here's another reason that you might want the Destiny admin password. Because the Destiny admin is the only one that can change and edit the access level of the administrator. So I had the home page was not on to view.
Mm-hmm.
So when I turned it off for the administrator, it turns it off for everybody.
Right.
All right, so now if I go to my guest, again, this is on. So a guest here would see the homepage, and they would see the visual search, and they would see the library search part, and they would see Discover. All right, so now if I do this, turn all these off, and then all I see is using Destiny Discover, and I see view homepage, and I do not, I repeat, I do not have Discover set as a default. And everything below this, then I can have on or off as I please. So when I save it, and when I log out, I'll be a guest. Oh, you know what I forgot? Let this be a lesson. So you can see, this is the way it normally would look for administrator. So if I go to admin, I forgot to turn on the home page for the administrator. I'm sorry, for the guest.
Right.
I want to make sure I have everything else set right. Well, let me try it. There we go. So we got the home page. And when I go to catalog, oh,
Okay.
this is great.
Okay.
So yeah, so then that's the way it would normally expect. Oh, I know why that wouldn't work. When I change demo sites, I think I move stuff around.
Okay.
All right, so now I close the browser, reopen it. Let me see if this will pop it through. So I can see the home page as a guest. And you can set it that way for students and teachers, and they can always come to your main back office classic look view. And when they click on catalog, it just jumps to it. Obviously, this is not connected to my.
Okay.
So I'm just having an error with one of the demo sites. So you could do that by control of.
I think. So would you, because you're saying that Follett is suggesting that students and teachers use the Discover interface, would you recommend that that be set to the default?
I would recommend leaning toward the serious thought of making that the default.
Okay.
I would not want to be the one to say, yes, always use Discover, go to Discover. Everyone, I shouldn't say everyone. I could tell you advantages to using this interface for searching with students. And I can give you advantages for Discover. Discover does have more features, but there's still a lot of people, even though this is what's been around for 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
Because it's familiar, a lot of people like it. This is where you are working all day long, and some are saying this is easier for me to work with the students on this. And if that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Discover thinking is that it's moving forward. There are things that they can do in Discover they cannot do here in this classic look. There's no right or wrong answer, but things will eventually, I shouldn't say eventually, things work better in Discover for a lot of the stuff, but there's still reasons a lot of people like it here too. So yeah, no right or wrong. The leaning is Discover for students and teachers, and this for librarians. We've had a few that went to Discover as a default, and they realized whatever they were trying to teach or how they worked with it, it didn't work for them, and then they would switch back to this. So you can switch back and forth. A lot of times it's just related to how you teach students and teachers to search and what fits best.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Larry,
Yes.
I believe there's questions, but I'm not sure if you'd like to answer them as they come up, or you would like
Sure.
to answer them at the end.
Yeah. If it fits, you can always interrupt me. But what questions are out there now?
Yeah, well, actually, there's one hand raised here. What her question is?
No, I just wanted to share my experience with the help of Marina. I would say 2 or 3 months ago, we go to the Discover view, and we really received very positive observation from our user. I think it's maybe more user-centered. It works better for the access from the outside part. And we keep the hybrid access. That means that librarians are still working with the first model, old model, I was going to say, and we use the Discover way for our students and teacher. I think it's more connected with the new way of presenting the information, and for the refining aspect, it's easier also for the information literacy we develop with students, because the database are structured very similarly. So I think it helps really. That's all.
There's the answer.
Larry?
Yes.
Hi, it's Melissa. Right now we've got.
Make it a good one, Melissa.
Right now we've got the. We're using the home page, and we have a Symbaloo on it, which looks fairly similar to the learning links. So I'm curious about the learning links. Can kids just click on that and go directly into this, that, or the other? So for instance, like we have math learning links and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Not
literally.
research-based.
Yeah, literally, these are just links. So if I just click on Discovery Channel,
Yeah.
it takes me directly to the Discovery Channel webpage.
So those aren't part of the OneSearch then?
Well, this is showing here because it was turned on in OneSearch. So, but this link just takes you to the generic discovery.com website. If I search, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just, if you go through OneSearch, do they automatically search through all those learning links?
From the ones that are from the OneSearch setup, yeah. What I didn't show yet, if I come into here, I go back to the admin, and I come back to, which is where I was going. Display options, featured content. This is where we're seeing the ribbons, making changes. Learning links, there's an edit. So the OneSearch databases that come through into learning links that display are not exactly showing here. Yeah, some of them look like they do. Let's see, this says CNN is hidden, but it really is displaying because it's coming through from the OneSearch setup that I'll show you in a second. But up here at the top, I can add a link. So literally, you can just add a link, and obviously I wouldn't do this, but I do the simple part. Simple because it's easier. And that's it. So if I save and this shows up on my learning links, and if the student clicks on it, it takes them directly to yahoo.com. So it literally is just a link from learning links, whether it's a database, whether it's a OneSearch database, whatever is showing. If I search, and then go to databases, then this is searching OneSearch databases only, nothing to do with learning links. And it is going to show me results from the databases that I added in OneSearch setup. And I don't go directly to the website, I go directly to the related pages or articles within the database website. That makes sense?
Yes. And can you organize the learning links?
Well, no, that would make sense. Why would you want to do that?
That's the difference between the Symbaloo, because I want to group them
Yeah,
as a librarian.
Well, I kind of tease about it because that was one of the original questions coming back after learning links started getting out there and people were using it. Everybody, and rightfully so, want to rearrange the order in any way, shape, or form that they choose. So now, oh, wait a minute. I might be lying. And you might have caught me. No, sorry. They didn't do it yet on this. There's no way to adjust the order of the learning links. They've done this with other things like this, so I'm not sure why they haven't done it here. Maybe it's just one of the features on the list that they need to move on with and adjust as we, hopefully that they'll do this. But yeah, there's no option to rearrange the order. A lot of people are commenting and asking for that in learning links because they want to prioritize what shows. Part of it is at least the hidden part was not there to start with. It was either all or none. So they did add that. And if I come back here to back office, relationship to and relating to learning links, catalog, search setup down here. This is for OneSearch. If I go down here to search setup in our catalog, if you do not see any of these menu options I'm showing, like search setup or enriched content searches or OneSearch database, that just means that somebody turned it off in your access level. And OneSearch is not a subscription from us, so it's built in. It's part of Destiny, the OneSearch part. If I click on edit, you should see a little window pop up here for me. And these databases, now you don't get these for free, and we don't you don't buy them through us. So if you are already subscribing to EBSCO, Britannica, etc., you can add them in. So I could go to add databases, and I see the EBSCO. Open this a little bit further. And if I was subscribing to abstracts and social gerontology, I would turn this on. That means I know I'm subscribing to it. I know I want it to be selected in the back office. This works for me because I'll be library admin working in the back office. And I want guests to see it. Guests would be your students and teachers that do not log in. You rarely are going to get anyone outside of the school coming into the library catalog to use databases. And every one of the databases and vendors that we legally make paperwork with, the legal paperwork, they know exactly how this works. They're not concerned about outsiders coming into the catalog and overusing your databases. But this option here is the new one within the past year or so. Display in Destiny Discover homepage links section. That's the learning links. So if you wanted this to be a button up there in learning links, you would turn this on. And then all this would do is if the students clicked on it, it would take the student to that database. No pre-searching, nothing. It does not pass a login through, I don't think. So if you have to re-log in, that may be possible. Not sure. So this is where I would probably turn these off, because I don't need to see all of those directly in my learning links, possibly. The free databases, there'll be different places you might see these. So anyone can add these. If you're not subscribing, or you do or don't want to add anything else, whatever, or not sure about EBSCO, you can add free ones, and the free ones will be listed here. Free ones meaning we find them, we work with these companies, discussions, make the connections. Majority of the people agree that yes, this is good content for K to 12. We do not vet everything there, but rarely you're going to find anything I should say inappropriate at any of these sites. So if you want Encyclopedia of Earth, I would want to turn it on. And if I do this, when I search either in Classic or in Discover, I will get results after a search. If I click this one, then the icon for this Encyclopedia of Earth will be displayed in Learning Links. So there are some I may want to be in Learning Links, others I may not. And I always try to repeat this as many times as possible. You can change this stuff as many times as you want. Try it, turn on, go look at it. If you don't like it, come back, turn it off, turn it back on, back off. Sometimes though, when you change things, you'll either have to log out and log back in to see the changes, or you may have to refresh a page, or you may have to get out of Discover and then come back into Discover. But OneSearch is a very well-liked, and I like it, it makes sense. You can add database articles or database access for your students when they do searches in the catalog. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop. And sometimes, a lot of times people will have questions, so do not hesitate if you're playing around with adding or adjusting OneSearch. Ask. Sorry, I should mention a couple things. When adding, like free databases or any databases, the temptation is, and don't be tempted, the temptation is to select all. So I did this playing around once, others have done this, librarians, select all. And it just says, yeah, I want all the free databases available. Problem is, it gets overwhelming. And then you start realizing that you really didn't want all of them, certain ones. And it's easy to turn them all on, but it's a slow process to turn them off one at a time. So do not select all. You'll regret that later. And EBSCO, the username password, if you've never done this and you do have an EBSCO subscription, the username password setup you have now that you would use when you go to EBSCO will not work here on this page. You will need to contact EBSCO and they will give you a special username and a special password that works with the Follett Destiny OneSearch feature. And I understand there are other vendors that are starting to do the same. So if your normal login that does work at the vendor site does not work here, contact them and they'll give you a special one to use in OneSearch. And you can always hit test. You click on test, you'll either see it was successful or not. And if I did choose one, it doesn't like the username password. So it'll let you know what the problem is.
So Larry, if you get a special username and password to use for a database in OneSearch, does that affect the original login details that you have to access directly? Do
No.
you know, can you keep did they operate independent of one
Yes.
another? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Everything else still works the same thing, same way, whether students have their own or a generic one school-wide. It's just that the generic one used to work in one search here, like for EBSCO, but they got to the point where they wanted, I think, a little bit more control, and they one search just needed. It's like one search is a user of EBSCO, so then they wanted that user to have a unique login. Is all. So yeah, no interference whatsoever. Everything else works exactly the same. And there are many people that have pointed out is that the search from Destiny going like into EBSCO, because EBSCO I think is supposed to have one of the best advanced searching pages with all kinds of different options. It's just the keyword search coming through Destiny. So Destiny is not picking up all of those features from the EBSCO webpage. The concept is that students can, at least when they're here, they see results from EBSCO. And if they need to do more research there, then they know they can go to EBSCO. And once it takes them there, they would be at EBSCO. And they could probably get to, I shouldn't say probably, they should be able to get to the search page and do more research with more filtering. But it basically, the school is paying for all these databases. Results showing here is just one more step that makes it easy for them to remember that the databases are out there. All right. Back into Discover. Coming back up here to the menu. Widgets. So this fits an earlier discussion. How do the students and teachers get to the catalog? And obviously there is the classic address. There is the Discover address. Takes them directly to Discover. And there are widgets that we are supplying. So if I scroll through, it's showing different color backgrounds for these widgets. Widgets is code, sorry, that can be added to a school website, a library website, any web page, a blog, anything. So that way it makes it easier for students to go to the library catalog. If there is a login page or a portal page for students and teachers to always go through, well, when they're going into the school system or logging in, this would be ideal to put it on the portal page. So this one right here, if you added just a basic rectangular one, and they'll see this, and when they click on this button, it would take them directly to your Discover homepage. And if I come over here to customize and get code, this is the code. So if you have access to the websites or blogs, then you can copy and paste. If not, you would need to share this text with the person that does the editing of the web pages. If I come back, the ones with the search fields, they could just click on it, but and then it takes them to the home page, but if they type in a search term, then when they do that, it will take them to your Discover page showing the results from that search. So if they're at a portal or any other place else where you have this, they don't have to go to the catalog first. They can just do the search from there, and it gets them into the Discover. It's just one more way, one more option for them to get to the catalog. I think the hardest part that everyone has always had for many, many years, it was hard enough to get students and teachers, everyone way back, if anybody remembers, when they did not have computers and there were card catalogs. Nobody wanted to go there. So the problem with the computerized, the digital catalog is that students and teachers still need to get to the catalog. Remember, it's there, and you have to make it as easy as possible for them to find a way to get there. So this helps. Addresses, links, widgets. So I'll close this. All right, the other part that we're going to look at is collections. If you have not tried collections, you can do anything you want with it and won't hurt a thing, won't change a thing. Nobody will see what you do because they can all remain private. But we do suggest you use it. This is kind of like the resource list concept that was in the Classic. So when I go to collections, all right, the first I see on the public page, I can see there's, I don't know if you can read that, but it says 18,352 public collections lists. The first one that you would see is if one or more patrons in your library had created a collection and then made it visible to your patrons in your library, you're seeing your local collections here first. If you have a school district where there are 2 or more libraries and you have the options on and someone shared or made visible their collection across just the district, this is the second line, the second carousel. And then down here is full public collections. And that literally means from around the world, anybody. So anyone that uses Destiny Discover, logs in and goes to collections, creates a collection, and then chooses to make it public, will display in this public collection here. Now, you have options not to display this for students. And I would recommend that. If students are seeing 18,000 plus collections, there will be a collection that is not appropriate for that region. No matter where you are, there'll be something that someone will question. Plus, with 18,000 collections, that's a lot. So there are ways that I'll show you on this. Let's say Mary Eldridge. And here's the point I kind of made earlier was that without your name or without you logging in as a patron with your name and your first last name, we don't know who created it. So I've seen some here that will create that log in as site administrator, and then it shows site administrator is the person that did this, which is not helpful to anyone. But if I go and look at this public collection that Mary Eldridge created, I don't know where Mary is from, it never says. And I can see that the majority of these are videos. Now, what I'm wondering is, I would need to know if these are videos of items like DVDs in her library, because if they are, I cannot really use them. But if these are online videos, I could use this. Yeah, all right, these are all going off to YouTube. So let's say you look at these and you like these videos that Mary has created. You can't just say students can see Mary. What you want to do is copy Mary's. So if I come up here to the 3 lines, I could create a PDF, but I really want to copy this. And when I copy it, I am now making it my list. So she still has it. She doesn't know I'm doing this, except everyone knows that everyone is copying each other's collections and using the concept. And up here, the copy word stays, and you can name it anything you want. For right now, I'm just going to leave the copy there so we know it copied later when we look at it. Any description you want. I'm going to make it private because I'm not ready to make it visible to my school, my patrons, and my library. I'm not going to make it to the district, other schools within my district or within my Destiny. Did I say it wrong? Other libraries within my Destiny catalog or Union catalog. Or I could make it public, and this goes worldwide. And you have options to turn this off for students, so students cannot make their list public worldwide. So click on next. I can make any choices here that I want, grade levels, basic subject ideas. Where this comes into play is like when I was searching for dinosaur and I had probably 20 or so, 25 collections show up as search results. If there are too many collections that display, there are limiters or filters I can use based on grade and the basic subjects. So the ideal thing would be to at least use grade if you have, or if that's the concept you're going with. If I click on next, I want to add a graphic. The graphic she had does not come through, so I'm going to click here. And when you're creating a new collection or copying, you can pick yours from a stock list. Which reminds me, somebody asked about topic graphics. That was a good idea. I don't know if we get ours from Demco or where those are from. Those other icons, where these icons come from, wherever they come from, they're obviously legal. We're either paying for access and or they're public domain. Or you can upload your own graphic if you wish. So I want to add one, and I can change colors. And then I'm going to save it. So I got a 3-page setup that I want to go through to make sure everything is the way I want it. When I save it, I'm now in my copy. All right, so this is mine. She still has hers, and this is good. I can then adjust the order. I can delete anything I want. I can add anything I want. I'm using her list as a starter list. And there may be some that are not appropriate for my group, my students, my area, so then I would remove them. Now, if I come back out to collections, and I go to private, private is mine. These are my private ones. And this is the one I just copied. So I can go back in and edit. I can change anything and everything. Once I get it done, everything is perfect. I hit the 3 dots up here in the left. And now, because it's mine, I have more options. I copy it and make it another one to make it different adjustments, delete it, track activity, do a PDF. If I come up here and edit, when I'm done, I would make it available to my school or district or whatever I want to do if I'm the administrator. Come back out. I'm still in the private. If you want to get rid of or remove, delete, you have to open up the collection. Click the 3 dots, delete. So that doesn't really, if you had books in there from the record, from the catalog, that doesn't delete them, it just deletes the collection. Yeah, I don't need a lot of these. So a lot of times people just go through and clean them up. A lot of times you'll start stuff that you really don't need later. Come back to collection, sorry, featured, because I'm in private. We'll come back to private in a little bit. If I go to featured, these would be collections that we are featuring. So the bottom one is from educators that we work with, and the majority of these here are related to the Lightbox interactive ebooks. So if you have Lightbox interactive ebooks, you're working on 1 or 2 titles, more than likely there are collections within this area that can be used for more resources related to that Lightbox title. The Classroom Ready, this is a subscription. So you would talk with Marina, and there's a subscription here that can be set up and added to. You have these are all based on curriculum and standards and other options related to everything. And there's 3 for elementary, 3 for middle. High school has 3 also, all 3 same subjects. Social studies, if I click here, the main difference is the standards are set down here at the bottom in relationship. I can show all, there's more. So this is something that we work with a group of educators with and create them, but this is a subscription, paid subscription. If I go back to private, And if I want to create a new one, orange button down the bottom right. Title, description, up to 2,000 characters, but describe why you're doing this maybe, or you leave it blank. Brand new, I'm always going to leave it as private because there's nothing there yet. No one needs to see it. I hit next. Same page as I had when I was copying. Next. Graphics and color. Create. And now I'm here. It's blank. So if I come back to Discover, just to be starting out from scratch, let's say, and I do my dinosaur search again, I'm looking for items, books, videos, anything I have in the library to add to the collection. So if I like this first one, yes, that's what I want. I have an add to collection option over here on the right on this title. Click and it lists out all of the collections that I own. Hit dinosaur. Another one, I'm going to add it to the dinosaur. If I come down and I'm looking at this part of the page, I have collections showing here in the middle. If I come here to websites, which is WebPath Express, I would obviously want to look and double check, but if some of these websites I want to add to the collection, I have an add to collection over here. It is not, unless they've just changed it recently, but the collection option does not show up here in OneSearch. Sorry. But there are other ways of dealing with that that I'll show you shortly. All right, so it's just a matter of adding items. Going back to private. Here's my dinosaur. I've already got 5 items, so the books are showing up into the web pages from the WebPath Express. And sometimes, depending on the web page or the website that you've added, you may or may not see a graphic related to that, depending on what the website has done in offering up a graphic. Then there are other ways of adding anything, anywhere from adding anything on the web, anything out on the internet can be added to a collection. So down here at the bottom, if you're not going to add, if you want things from outside of the catalog, I'd want to hit a plus button, the orange button down here at the bottom. And this is asking right now for an address. Now, if you have addresses memorized, that's great. You could type it in. But reality, no one does that. If you are out searching around, you find a website that you like, you want, well, wrong one. You could just copy and paste, come back in, paste it, add it. But that's too many steps also. Ideally, and this works with Chrome, there is this install the bookmarklet. A lot of people are not seeing this, missing this, and we always I like to emphasize this because this really makes it an easy, great way to create collections and add to collections. So I'm going to install the bookmarklet. Opens up a little window. The bottom half of this window is showing me, I hope you see this, it's showing me what I need to do. I need to take this yellow box and drag it up to my favorites bar. all browsers have the ability of favorites bar or bookmark bar or different names. Sometimes they're turned off, so you want a favorites bar to show. I'm going to take this yellow box and drag it up here to the right, and I'm going to add it right here in my favorites bar, and now it says add to collections. Okay, so all I did was add a link to my favorites bar by dragging the yellow box up. Now, I don't have to be here. I don't have to be in Discover. I can be in Destiny back office. But let's just say if we go over here back to my search for dinosaur websites, if I find something I like, and I'm looking at it, it says, yes, this would fit my collection well. I don't want to have to copy and then go back to follow it where I'm not in Discover, and I'd have to go into Catalog, Discover, Collections, and go find that collection to copy and paste. What I can do while I'm on this website, it's newdinosaurs.com. I can click right here, Follett Digital. No, where to go? Sorry. Add to collections. Sorry, my fault. The add to collections favorite I saved here, if I click on it, it shows me the title. It shows me the address. It's asking me which collection should I add this website to. And I can see all of my collections. Just know it's that add to collections link up here knows it's me, knows what site to go to, etc. So I choose dinosaur and I add. And I'm done. Close that. Back out. I'll do one more. Let's do Disney dinosaur, good, bad, or indifferent. I like it. I want to add to the collection. Come up here to add to collection. It's already set for dinosaur. It's all fine. I add it. So basically, I just added this in like 5 seconds of deciding that I wanted it. Less than 5 seconds. When I'm done looking and searching, come back over here. If I go back into Catalog, Discover, Collections, Private. Now if I go to Dinosaur, these are the two that I just added through the add to collections. I didn't have to be there at all. That was the great part. Come back out to collections. Let's just say I want to get rid of this one. So let's say I'm not working on collections. I'm not working on anything for school and or work and or students or anybody. And my hobby is watching baseball. And I'm looking through baseball websites. And then I realize when I'm doing this, I should create a collection for baseball for my students. Let's just say I click here and it's like, yeah, this is a great website. I want to share it. I want to come back to it myself. For anybody, I come up here and say add to collection. And I do not have a baseball collection. So I can create a collection from here. I don't have to be back in Discover, in Destiny, or at the collections page. I'm doing it from this little window. Create a collection. Create it. I see it. We're done. I add it. So I started a brand new collection. So then I could add other baseball websites or anything to that collection. Main thing is to know you can do this and add to collections from anywhere on the internet. And when we were clicking back here, we were looking at databases, the OneSearch database results. So if I go in Discovery, there was no, or there is no a collection, add to collection, but if I go to the web page, all right, this came from OneSearch. I can come up to here, choose to add it. So this is a page result from OneSearch. Now, if I come back to collections, private, let's just go with baseball this time. It's empty almost. If I want to add more, this was all doing websites, web pages right here. I could do a playlist. So once I have a collection created, I could create a playlist, meaning I am showing the items in a certain order. The students would need to work through that order to see all of my items. It would be for more specific lessons. I can upload or attach to or upload from Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive. So almost every student and teacher has the Google Drive or OneDrive. They have articles, images, videos, anything on that drive in the cloud can be added to a collection. You can add notes, and you can add other collections. The example I use is that now I've got baseball and basketball. I might want to have a sports collection, and then I would add both baseball and basketball to that sports collection. So collections within collections. And everything you change or you do here, you can undo or change or move around or come back and adjust it. Nothing is set in stone. And everything that I create in private, I have it set, or yeah, in mine, it's set to private so no one sees it. So I can adjust it any way I want. We saw the 3 vertical dots. If I come over here, there's 3 dots that are in a triangle. This collection is private. No one sees it yet, but I could create a link to share with one person. And that one person, whether they are part of my school or not, it could be somebody else, a friend of mine, relative, another colleague in a different school, in a different country. You can send this to them and they can view your link, your collection. And that's it. You could also create one where it allows them to edit. So they could edit your collection. So you could ask for others to assist, whether they are at your school or not. Come over here to people, you can add their email address. The email address, hopefully, is the email address that is in the patron record. So if I sent this to a teacher with a patron record in my library and it's same email address in the email address field, then every time they log into Destiny and they go to collections, they would see my collection. No one else would because it's set to private, but this person would. Or I could edit. Or allow them to edit. And when they log in, they can edit. The reason I want others to edit is to assist me in adding or creating or adjusting or suggestions, anything. So you have a lot of options here. Just to show you can, that doesn't work too well with one item. Let me do, so you can see these in a different format. And this is not a setting for everyone. This is, everyone can do their own settings. So whatever you choose, how you choose to view your collection is how you see it. Students would see it, whatever they choose to use, and along with teachers. So it's a personal choice. All right. Close to the end. Questions?
Yeah, well, Larry, I'm not sure that if you've talked a lot about the app, but I see there's a that Martha was going to ask about the app, and I don't know if you have answered her or not, but if you could go over that again.
Well, thank you, Marina. It's Martha. This goes back to the very beginning of our session. I tried to put the Destiny Discover app on my phone, and I search for our school. And when I click on our school, I get a message saying Destiny 18.0 or later is needed. And we're hosted with Follett, so we are current. So I'm not sure why I'm getting that message. And it's telling people to contact the librarian for help, and I don't know what to tell them.
It's you're the librarian. All right. So when you go to the app, you see something similar to this.
Yes.
All right. So where I am right now is at destinydiscover.com. So it's the same concept, same process. If you're on the app, on a device, or anyplace else, or you're going to Discover and you're trying to find your site, any location is going to include the whole world. So if you have a common name for a site, you would want to probably use other countries. What's the name of your site in Destiny?
The site is Lincoln, LINCOLN .Follett Destiny.
No, that's the.
That's okay. So we're Asociación. We're not going to say. I'm going to butcher the Spanish, but Asociación Escuelas Lincoln.
There it is, Larry.
Oops.
Martha, are you using the Destiny Discover app?
Yes, and I encountered this morning on my laptop as well. So it's there.
This
It is.
one?
Yeah, that's it, Larry.
Is
Yeah,
this what shows up for you?
Yes.
Mine works.
Well, I had trouble on my laptop and on my phone. So I got to this point, and then when I click go, I got
Oops.
I got that message this morning on my laptop, and on my phone, I'm getting Destiny 18.0 is needed.
All right. Yeah, something's going on then. Let me follow up on that.
That would be terrific.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. So the demo sites we use, we separate out. So it needs to be the site name. So that's one thing is important. If I come back here to my site name that I'm in on is this one right now. If I go to another look from your Destiny front page or district page, and this is what everybody needs to know. Everything is and searching for is based on the actual library site name that shows here. So some people were looking for the district name, some were looking for generic school names, and it can get confusing. So and it's an ongoing effort to keep all this straight and clean, and a lot of people will have if I do
Larry, since
yes.
Martha and I are at the same school, but we're at different sites within the school, and mine works.
Really?
Yeah, I'm on it right now. You want to see it?
No, because I have run across this odd stuff before, and I don't remember what the problem was. So I'll have to track through it. But so a lot of schools will use just elementary library, and that's just too simple, right? So this is like the one that I use a lot. So this shows up right away. So that's the hard part, is getting students to know exactly what to type in. And if the name is not unique enough, the Destiny admin login can change the name. These names are none of our business. You can put anything in there you want. When you do a name change to help make it easier, it may take up to an overnight or 24-hour period overnight process for it to flow through the system to be seen on Destiny Discover, which is what the app is using to find it. With your situation, you're unique. It should have just worked. So that means something. Usually, it's related to all of the accounts connecting correctly in the background.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the background now because there's tidal wave, there's the content connections, there's Discover, there's the customer numbers, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I'll look in on that.
would you suggest that I write to tech support as well, or?
Oh, give me a little bit, and then if I do hit the brick wall where someone needs to work directly with you, and then they're on the inside, then yes, I'll let
Okay.
you know.
Thank you
But
so
sometimes
much.
it's usually a simple switch.
Yeah, great. That would be, I hope so. Thank you.
Hopefully. So the app would be looking like this when you try to find your site, and when you get to the app, it's like I said earlier, it was mainly for ebooks right now, but you can search your Discover, search your whole library, search different materials. And the name of it is Destiny Discover. You might find Destiny Read. That's for pre-version 18. And there is also a Follett Destiny app, and that is for you, the administrators, that allows you to check out, check in, status, and I forgot the fourth option. Oh, scan books, I think, on a mobile device. And with the iOS, the Apple, last time I checked, that worked perfect with scanning barcodes with that camera, but there were problems with the Android camera. So you can still use the app with the Android, but you'd have to type the numbers in.
Larry?
Yes.
With the app, when it works correctly, can students put books on hold, or patrons put books on hold through the app?
Not yet.
That's what. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm in it, and I thought.
They not as an excuse. There's never an excuse. It's just the reason is they, because all the COVID stuff, they put a rush on it, and so many features are not there when they intended not to release it until all the features were in. And everybody said, no, you better get something out before the school year starts. So they got the basics in, and they continue to add. And that is one thing that other people have asked about.
Thanks.
Other questions?
Yeah, if you have any questions or something that was unanswered, you can always write to me or to Larry. If Larry can share his email with everyone, I'm not sure if you would like to, or would you like to filter through myself, Larry?
I'm betting everybody down there already has my email address.
Yeah. But I know some of you joined in later on, and you probably lost much of the presentation. We're going to be sending you the recording of this presentation so you can have it, save it, listen to any part of it, keep it to yourself, and use it as much as you need. We hope to have answered many of your questions, but if not, you have a chance to go into the recording and listen again. Okay, and let me see, I think there's something else here, a new message. Okay, Martha, always good spending time with you. And Larry, thank you, and thank you, Marina. Well, we have to thank all of you, and especially we thank Larry, yes, because he's always very at hand and useful in explanations and clarifying all our doubts. So I'll be sending you an email with a link, probably on Monday. And if there are any questions, as I said, please go ahead and ask me. Now, there are some people who joined that I'm not familiar with, so I don't know which schools they are from. Emira Vasquez and Jen. I believe Jen left, but Emira, what school are you from? She's left the meeting as well. Yeah, okay, this will be an improvement for our next webinar. I'm going to ask people as they log in to identify themselves. Because sometimes I don't send the emails to everyone. And when I do, I need to know who they are if I don't have you on a list, okay? So anyway, thank you everyone. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll be in touch with everyone very soon. Thank you again, Larry. Bye.
Thank you, Larry. Bye.
Marina.
Thanks, Marina. Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.